You are now listening to the More Than an Admin podcast with Mallory Rothstein. For more, visit morethananadmin.com. And if you haven't already, make sure you go subscribe to this podcast. Thank you and enjoy this episode. What's up, everyone? It's Mallory from More Than an Admin, and this is your next podcast episode. This is the first one with video that I'm trying out, and you could tell by the quality that it's definitely not where I want to be, but I want to just keep doing videos and just getting over my fear of being on video. So this is kind of my attempt at doing that. And there's actually a tropical storm right now happening in St. Pete, where I live in Florida. And so, you know what? I was just like, I'm stuck at home. I might as well try out some video content. Like I said, I am playing around with video and my whole entire setup. Like, it's very hard. This is something completely out of my comfort zone, but I'm learning every single day. I'm trying new things. Again, I know the lighting right now does not look perfect, but that is okay. I'm hoping that the content will be what you are really going to take away something from, and hopefully, many of you will listen just to the audio. So it's all good, but I'm happy you're listening. Today, we're going to go over 3 questions you should ask yourself before you apply to Google or any other large tech company. I think this is something that's really important. A lot of people will ask me about what it's like to work at Google. A lot of people want to know what they should be looking for in an interview, what they should be asking the interviewer. But I think it's really important to first ask yourself if a place like Google or anywhere in large tech is actually where you are meant to be. Is this the place that, God wants you to be right now in your life? And so I have 3 questions for you that you should be able to answer. And these are actually going to really be helpful when you're in an interview, because these are things that I actually looked for when I was at Google, if people could answer these questions without sometimes me even prompting them. All right. Hopefully you're all ready. The first question is, can I handle the scale of the company? So some of you might be coming from a small company compared to a Google or a Meta or Salesforce, where you're used to only supporting one executive or only supporting a team of 5, where when you come to Google or again another large tech company, you're going to be potentially supporting more than one person. You're going to be working on teams that could be hundreds of people. It could be thousands of people. So it's really important to ask yourself, can I handle the scale of this company? You should be able to convey that in an interview too. And the way that you can do that, again, is you could just simply say, I know I'm coming from a small company, but I'm up for the challenge. I have been waiting for an opportunity for our company to grow, and I know that I'm going to be ready to be able to work with hundreds or thousands of people. You could say something like that, just so that, like, as an interviewer, you're like, oh, okay, this person already knows that the scale of this company is bigger. They understand that it might be a challenge for them, but they're ready for the challenge. So it's really important you ask yourself, can I handle the scale of this company? Because I promise you, the Google scale is going to be very different than working in a very small startup or a small school or anything where there's only, again, you're supporting one person and there's only maybe 5 other people on the team. Just think about how large Google is. Think about how it's around the world. Have you ever had to work for a company where there are people in every other part of the world? That is something that a lot of people forget sometimes when they come from a small company and they're joining a company like Google, where they have to know that their inbox is going to be getting emails potentially at every hour of the day. That doesn't mean you always have to reply, but just know that you're going to be getting emails potentially at all different hours of the day, because again, the company is global and people are up and their working hours are going to be different than yours. So that's my first thing. The first question is, can I handle the scale of the company? The second question you want to ask yourself is, can I handle the speed of the company? So Google or anywhere in large tech, again, it's a tech company, and tech moves quickly and tech changes quickly. That means, again, that the adjustments need to be made quickly by the company, which means you have to make adjustments very quickly. There are so many times where things are happening so fast that you can really, really get either overwhelmed or, again, you can embrace the challenge of the speed and really enjoy it. There's some people who absolutely love that about working at a company like Google or another large tech company. But there's also some people who, again, are used to working at a college or potentially a hospital where things can sometimes move more slowly in terms of policy or just different changes. I'm not saying every single school or every single hospital moves slow, but I definitely think there's a lot of bureaucracy that can make things move really slow. Again, that doesn't mean to say at a large tech company that certain things don't move slow, because there are definitely parts of Google that I think that when I was there moved slower than I want, or different teams move slower than other teams. But I think especially just in general, there is a speed and an expectation that you can meet that speed requirement when you join a company like Google, especially if you're going to be a higher level admin coming into the company. There is an expectation that you know the job, maybe whether that's fair or not, that you can set the tone for your admin team, that you can set the tone with your executives, and you're going to be having to move fast at that too. And the expectation is that you're going to be able to learn fast. And so I would really ask myself, can I handle the speed of the company? And again, you should be able to answer that question in an interview. Whether it's, again, you embrace change, whether it's that you are excited to move fast with a company that's making a ton of changes that are going to be impacting people around the world globally, and you understand that that means that you have to react quicker, that you have to be proactive faster. And so really ask yourself if you want to do that, because some people, they're the opposite. They like to move a little bit slower. Just like, I have to say that I have to change the sound of, or the speed of my voice when I speak with people from, let's say, another part of the country in the US other than New Jersey and New York. Feels like when I'm with my hometown crowd, I can speak very quickly. But when maybe I'm on a podcast like this or in other spaces, I try to significantly slow down. Now I can't even speak because I'm getting so caught up in my words thinking about the speed of my voice. But I try to just slow my voice down a little bit more than I'm normally used to. But again, that's just something that you have to think about when you work at a company like Google, or again, Meta or Salesforce, or any of these larger tech companies, about the speed that you're going to be working with compared to where you were before. And then the third question I would ask myself is, can I handle the pressure that comes with working for this company? So I always say that when you work at Google, everyone in your life is going to see you now as, their Google contact. People are going to be messaging you that you probably never spoke to in 10 years, asking you for job help, or can you look over my resume? Or people are going to look at you to just say, again, you're associated with whether it's Google or another large tech company. And there's a lot of pressure that comes with that because all those people know the company that you work for. And I tell people all the time, especially at a place like Google, are you okay if you make one mistake and thousands of people are on an email? And or if you make one calendar change that might impact a huge thing, a huge deadline. Like if you forget one person off of a calendar invite, or if you are I don't know, you just forget to do something, or again, you send an email with an error and you might have 50 people that reach out to you to say, hey, you made this mistake. There's some people who are totally okay with that. And I could say I was one person that, of course, sometimes I'd be sweating, but I was okay with that pressure. I feel as though, especially growing up in the Northeast, it kind of comes with the territory of working in a city like New York City that I did, or growing up in New Jersey. I think that I embrace that, but there's a lot of other people, and you could still be from New Jersey, New York, and not embrace that and not want to work at a company that comes with a lot of pressure. But just know that when you work at a place like a Google or any other name brand company, that comes with a certain level of expectations and, again, pressure that you might not have at a company that not a lot of people know about. You can make, one mistake and it can honestly end up in the news. You just might have seen that Google pulled an ad from the Olympics. And I'm sure that there were many people in that conversation and things were probably really crazy. And I'm sure someone might have gotten their hand slapped for thinking about that idea. And again, as an admin, as much as we are behind the scenes, we all know that our work impacts and has a real impact on not only the leaders that we support, but the work that they do and the decisions that they're being made. So again, you have a calendar invite that's with a bunch of big executives from other companies, and let's say you put the wrong address, or you put the wrong executives from our side of the company on there. Are you okay dealing with the consequences of that. And again, it doesn't mean that you're, going to lose your job. It doesn't mean anything like super, super horrible, but there could definitely be people who could be nasty at you. There could be people who are upset, and you have to be able to mentally prepare for that. And again, there are admins who are completely okay with this. And then there are admins that would rather not deal with that pressure at all. They would rather work at another company that, again, that is not in the news as much, or that their mistakes might not be as high profile. And of course, everything is impacted by the level of the person that you support. But these are just good questions to ask yourself. And I think that a lot of times when people think about working at a place, again, like Google or Meta or Netflix or any of these high profile type of companies or name brand companies, they think it's going to be all rainbows and butterflies because maybe their paycheck's going to be a little bit more. Again, people are going to know where they work, but they forget about how much of a difference it can make in your life that is, your day to day, that you want to make sure that you're ready for that challenge. And there's definitely things that I wasn't ready for in my first job when I worked for the company Henry Schein. I had never worked for a company that had, at the time, they had 19,000 employees. And then I had no idea what it's like to work with really high profile individuals. I mean, I was working with Secret Service. I was working with so many different types of people, and I had to learn really quickly, again, what the scale, the speed, and the pressure was to work there. So that when people asked me about how it was at Google, to be honest, it was way easier than my first job. It was way, 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 way easier because I was already used to such a high pressure situation, high scale, high speed. And I wasn't working when I was working at Google. I decided I did not want to be in the C-suite. And that was, again, a decision that I made because I didn't want to deal with the highest form of pressure of a company. I didn't want to deal with how fast the C-suite operates. I didn't want to deal with, actually, I was fine with the scale because Google is bigger than Henry Schein, and that was actually pretty easy. But again, I had to think about these things. And I think a lot of times admins don't think about these things when they're coming from a non-tech industry into tech. Or again, a non-brand company versus going into a very high-profile brand company. So these are just a couple of questions that I had on my mind that I feel as though I often talk to people one-on-one that I thought that the rest of the world should know, and that hopefully helps you if you're thinking about moving into large tech or specifically Google, or it could just help you in, your career path that you're thinking about. So I hope this helps. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the More Than an Admin podcast. I'm so excited to be doing videos. I promise that there is so much more coming. I'm just trying to get all my ducks in a row, especially in my personal life, to make sure that I bring the best content for all of you watching. I appreciate everyone who is not only listening here, but that is actually subscribed to the YouTube channel, because I'm trying so hard to not have to charge bazillions of dollars for things, and a lot of times that's going to be deterring. It's going to be a big factor in obviously my YouTube and how to make money through there, and it's free to subscribe. So hopefully you subscribe, or you're already subscribed, or will subscribe now. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and I'll see you soon back on this podcast. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the More Than an Admin podcast. Make sure you have subscribed, and if you're feeling a little generous, please also leave a review because we love your feedback. And remember to share this podcast with those around you. If you're looking for more content, check out morethananadmin.com, our YouTube channel, or follow us at More Than an Admin on all platforms. If you're looking to connect directly with me, you can find me at Mallory is More on all platforms, or search for me on LinkedIn. Let's continue together to influence how the world views administrative professionals and help admins embrace all aspects of their identity to become their best selves. Remember, you are more than your job title, and the best is still yet to come. I'll talk with you soon.